Chrissy. Let's make this video. We do need to put some lotion on these hands though, girl. Hey unicorns, how y'all doing? Listen. I know it's March. Wait, is it March? April? This is one of my favorite videos to do. I've only done it once, so I don't know how it's a favorite one time. So y'all know. There's a lead time. There's a lead time on the channel. Top 10 favorite books of 2022. I would be remiss if I didn't tell y'all's absolute favorite books. Let's start with the honorable mentions. The honorable mentions are in no particular order. I want to mention these books because these were some of my favorites as well. And I do want to put a caveat out there. These books are most likely my favorite books from each month. That's all the caveat we gonna get. That's the only caveat I remember, if I'm being honest with y'all, because I don't even know. Where's my drink at? I know what's missing. Sometimes you just need a pre-peach green tea lemonade, huh? I'm not even gonna say I'm gonna do a synopsis, so the books will be linked below. Bearing My Soul by Karen Blake. Story time. Real quick story time. I was on a book haul last spring and I found this book, a series of essays. Karen Blake and her days before BTS, before Korean pop was a thing, and her adventures in South Korea as a teacher. And it was absolutely wonderful. I fell in love with this story collection. And then lo and behold, a few months later, I was actually able to meet her. I put a picture here and it was definitely a unicorn moment, and this is an amazing story. I feel so connected and you should totally read this. She's an indie author, self-published. Definitely check her book out. Terry Blackstock, If I Run. This entire series was just a complete bop. Oh my goodness, this was it. Book 1 I gave 4 stars, but books 2 and 3, honey, I gave them books 5 stars. I'm not even gonna hold you. 5 stars all the way around. The Candlestone by Brian Davis. I really enjoyed the second installment in the Raising Dragons series. This did not disappoint me. 4 stars. An absolute amazing Christian fantasy story that I didn't even know I was missing. I was so excited to dig my hands into it. Halfway through the series, dragon and Arthurian retelling, Christianity, get what? How do they all? And it's so amazing. Can y'all see these? Don't shake. Okay. Anne of Green Gables. It wouldn't be a top 10 honorable mention if I did not mention Anne. The sweetest, rambunctious, charismatic, loving, and some sass too. She ain't got it. She do. Love this book. I cried my eyes out. It's just everything you need and you don't even realize it. I give it 5 stars and touched my heart. Honest June by Tina Wells. Middle grade is so hard. Her fairy godmother says,
girl, you right here pleasing everybody. I'm gonna need you to be honest about your truth and stop telling these little white lies.
Now she telling her truth and everybody business. So that makes it very complicated for June. I don't know how she's gonna get out of these situations, but she figures it out. And now for the top 10. The top 10. Death by Bubble Tea. What?
Yes.
Death by Bubble Tea. Who? I'll always me by Bubble Tea. Death by Bubble Tea by Jennifer J. Chow. This was my favorite cozy of 2022. It had to be in the top 10. It follows 2 cousins who have a boba tea stall, and then somebody ends up getting murdered from their boba. It was a good mystery because I didn't figure out how they was gonna get out of it. All signs pointed to them. Literary references, everything you need. So good. This book was my favorite thriller, and I have to say, I was not anticipating it being my favorite thriller, but usually the psychological thrillers that really get me are the ones that completely subvert my expectations. Who is Maud Dixon? This is a book, about publishing books, and a mysterious author, a young woman who works at this publishing company, trying to track down who Maud Dixon is. Ooh, child, that was wild. I mean, I'm still thinking about who is Maud Dixon. There are some trigger warnings, but if psychological thrillers are your jam, I think you would really enjoy this. It was my favorite thriller of the year because some of the thrillers I read, although T levels were high, I couldn't say I still think about them now. I still think about it, and I may have upped my rating to 5 stars as read on and find out who, because I was shocked. Maud Dixon is who? Girl! Number 8, Emma, Gaslighting 101, y'all. This was my first Jane Austen, and it was so delightful. I'm so excited to read more of Jane Austen's books, so I will link the descriptions below and the videos that I mentioned these. One thing I really loved about this book, Emma's character arc was so fully realized, the different nuances. I love character work. Jane Austen gave me all the character work that I enjoy in books. I'm so excited to read more of her books. Number 7.
It's hot for me.
Who's surprised? Robin Hobb, Ship of Destiny. This is the 6th installment in the Realm of the Elderlings and the 3rd book in the Live Ship Traders series. I still think about this book. Ship of Destiny was absolutely amazing. I so much to say without saying it, but I hope y'all didn't think I was gonna get through this list and not mention a Robin Hobb book, because I'm me. I just thoroughly enjoyed the story. This book really brought everything together and it was so climactic. There was a resolute ending. Every character got the ending that made sense for them. Although so expansive and beautiful in scope and in character, it was still so intimate, emotionally riveting. Out of all the Robin Hobb books I've read to date, this is definitely one of my favorites. The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. This is a historical fiction about Belle DeCosta Green, who the personal librarian of J.P. Morgan. Absolutely phenomenal book. I highly recommend this book. A wonderful book to read in 2022. It is definitely a must read, and it's one of the Book of the Month books, so Book of the Month actually got this pick right. We'll credit that to them this time. But yeah, Belle DeCosta Green is hired by J.P. Morgan to curate his personal library collection, to acquire all of rare artifacts. Ends up being one of the most powerful people in the art and book world. J.P. Morgan Library in New York stands today because of the work and the expertise and the passion for art and literature that Belle DeCosta Green had. She was a Black woman that passed for white during her time. Her story and the depth and the scope of it and the heartbreak of what it was to be in that time and to not be free in who you are is so impactful. And Personal Librarian, you guys, Personal Librarian, so great. Dark Matter. Wait, let me explain. I read Dark Matter and Upgrade in 2022. I'm gonna tell you, did I read this in 2022 or did I read this in 2021?
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is...
Have I been thinking about Dark Matter for 2 years and I'm just not putting it on the 2022 list? Nah, I read it in 2021. I read Upgrade in 2022 as well, and I gave that 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. But if I had to pick a Blake Crouch book that still stays with me, it has to be Dark Matter. This is one of the most riveting and passionate and intense and exciting, hard-hitting to date, my favorite Blake Crouch. I think it might be one of my favorite books of all time. I might read it one more time to see. When I think about Blake Crouch, I think about Dark Matter. I don't know what number I am in numbers. Is this number 5? Whatever number this is, it's high up there. If you're curious about science fiction, I would highly recommend it. It's just phenomenal, and it leaves me speechless every time I think about it. Ooh, don't fall over now. Ooh.
Top, tippity top.
Towsers, The Pursuit of God. Phenomenal Christian nonfiction read. I read a decent amount of Christian nonfiction last year in 2022, but The Pursuit of God was my favorite of the year, and I still profoundly think about it. The lessons, the theology that's based in the Word of God, it was so accessible and so easy to digest, and I could see the weight of his walk with the Lord. In a lot of ways, A.W. Towser prophesied about the condition of the church and what it meant to really pursue God and be in awe of him and who he is and what we are to him and how we should respond to him in our pursuit of him, which is a classic. I highly recommend it. I'm so excited to read The Purpose of Man and the Crucified Life and the principles that A.W. Towser talks about. Absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend. Now, this next might be a surprise, but it might not. Now we're getting into the top 3 books. It's getting real. Number 3 on the list, In Search of a Prince. I loved this book. I love this book. I connected so much with Brielle and her character, her prayer life, her family. She's just a teacher in New York City and finds out that she's a princess in an island kingdom, a Lorelei on the coast of Africa. Oh my goodness. This is a classic. Reading this book, recommending this book to so many young women, and to see a beautiful Black woman on the cover of this book and what she represents in her faith and her walk with God and her relationships with other people as she steps into this unknown role, culture that she knew nothing about, how she walks with the Lord through the decisions that she makes, and then the love that she finds in the Lord and in finding her prince. I can't rave about this book enough. Jesus worked that thing out.
Honey.
That's all I'm gonna say. By now, you might be wondering, book is gonna be number 1. Well, I tell you what book is number 2. Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. This decision between book 2 and book 1 was a little hard. Yes, Robin Hobb has 2 entries on my top 10 list. It's my top 10 list, so I can be biased. Fool's Fate is the 9th installment in the realm of the Elderlings. We're back with Fitz Chivalry Farseer and his story arc. I am still trying to figure out how I'm going to actually talk about this book in non-spoiler review. Hobb Emotional Support Group. We will be meeting momentarily, but you can call 1-800-HOBB support and we'll be here for you to attend to your needs and annotate it to the nth degree. Look at the annotate. I ran out of tabs, y'all. Robin Hobb is just an amazing storyteller. I just love this story. I love how Robin Hobb tells her stories. I enjoy angst and the emotional intimacy and the world building. So many questions are answered. Things that happen in book first trilogy, and she answers them here. She clarifies such payoff, and I felt so validated. I felt so vindicated. I cried my eyes out. Just wrecked me. I'm not even gonna hold you. I have 7 more books to read, and I'm just gonna take my time because I'm still in a Robin Hobb book hangover. And I finished this in December. We're in February and I'm still in a hangover. I just love this book. So we got Emma, we got Death by Bubble Tea. What other book could there be that Chrissy said is her favorite book other than Hobb? So my favorite book of 2022, Wistress. Wistress by Nadine Brandes. Wistress. This book, the Wistress effect, is so real. Reading this book, a breath of fresh air for me as a fantasy reader, as a Christian science fiction reader. It was just a breath of fresh air. Although there is like a YA element, there's an adult element. There's so many things that are happening in there. I really appreciated the Christian allegory. I did a dedicated book review to Wistress, and I highly recommend. There was so many elements to it that I think upon reread will stand out to me again. The tension, the little bit of romance, but more so the Christian allegory and the protagonist. She's such a grounded and great character who has made mistakes, who yet continues to move forward, continues to do her best to search for the truth. And it's just such an amazing book. Thinking about it now, I start to tear up. For one, I need a sequel. Nadine, you writing a sequel. Wistress, my favorite book of 2022. Stand up here with me now. You can do it. I know I put you on the spot. I know you didn't think it was gonna be the top 10 book. You did it. You conquered it. And the reason is because I'm fully invested in Robin Hobb, but Wistress is probably the most rarest reading experiences I've had in a very long time. Such a unique story, especially a fantastical story. Highly recommend it. It is my favorite book of the year. I bet you didn't see that coming. That's it for me. My top 10 favorite books of 2022. 2022 was a phenomenal reading year. Hey, book unicorns. Your girl actually forgot to film an end clip. I filmed this back in February. But we here, baby. I hope you enjoyed my top
10 favorite books of 2022.
It was so much fun to compile the list. Let me know your favorite book of 2022. Or if you just couldn't pick a favorite, let me know that as well. Don't mind the book stack. Maybe somebody had another unicorn. This why you can't leave unicorns up here in the library by themselves. We got another unicorn, baby. Need I say more? Don't it look like him? Need I say more, though? Few videos working up. I'm actually working on wrap up from February. Spoiler alert, it's all Left Behind. So I actually read 12 books in the Left Behind series. That's a thing. A few new subscribers to the channel. Thank you so much for everybody that has been here. I want to thank every person that has subscribed. I really appreciate it. I'm really humbled by it. And let's just conversation continue about books, about our joy about books, and even the tea about books. Many heartfelt thanks. I plan on doing a subscriber giveaway as well. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see y'all unicorns next time. Later! 2023. Well, it's like 9 months into 2023, so but it's fine. We're fine. It's fine.